Also, ESPN sucks. The finals crew sucks. TNT is dead. At least we still get Kevin Harlan over on Amazon or whatever he's going to be calling for.
I didn't even know.
NBC. Kevin Harlan will still be calling.
NBC. Yeah. That would make sense.
Also, I've thought about this more and more. Mike Breen has been a part of so many big moments. I overrated as a broadcaster, I think.
You still feel this way?
I don't even care.
Okay.
I aggressively feel.
I think about this. This is one of our arguments that I think about like really regularly.
I would rather listen to Kevin Harlan with bad reception underwater than listen to Mike Breen.
I don't get that. I mean, I love Kevin Harlan, but I've thought of an analogy. I've been working on it. I don't know if it's perfect yet.
Okay.
But like, I feel like it's like the way I view it, at least. Kevin Harlan to me is a lot of energy. It's really good, but it just kind of feels more like a Michael Bay movie. You know, it's like explosions in your face. Just, you know, it's kind of like you're really riding like the waves of just aggressive in your face type of, you know, just all those things sonically. And then Mike Breen is a lot more like, he's like a Scorsese film or like a, you know, Wes Anderson or like, you know, more artsy. It's like more even keeled and calm and sultry, like classy, you know, is the way I kind of feel like is it.
So the guy that yells bang is not the explosion Michael Bay movie.
Like it's been like 50 times in his career that you know, it's like he doesn't do it very often.
But I think the thing for me is like technically, like the little technical things Mike Breen, he's not great.
Really?
He's just fine.
I noticed
also,
way
it's
more.
also hard because, and this is another thing is people say, oh, you just don't like the rest of the ESPN cast. Like if it was Van Gundy still, you'd like ESPN more probably.
Yeah.
I'm like, Reggie Miller sucks too. So it's not like I'm
not a big fan of Reggie Miller as a color commentator.
Holding that type of thing like super pro or anti Harlan or pro or anti Breen. Just you put those two in a vacuum, and I take Harlan 10 times out of 12.
I feel like there's so much more like cheesy things with Harlan or like little flubs here and there that are just they're not. With Breen, it's just so consistent and so like it's just basketball incarnate in a voice. You know. Like that's the way
I think that is only because of like the moments and the situations, and it's okay to like you feel how you feel, but I feel like if Kevin Harlan was the ESPN guy, it'd be different because he would have a lot of those moments.
Like I mean, carrying you through the game. I'm not talking about like highlight snapshot moments. I mean like carrying you through a game, like from start to finish of a broadcast. Like when Kevin Harlan, like you're going through the mundane parts of it. He just kind of has one knob. It's like, it's just always, it's Kevin Harlan. We're here. We're watching basketball. You know, it's more like that.
He's a big voice.
Yeah. But like Mike Breen, it's more levels. There's more dynamicism. It's like.
Because he doesn't have as big of a voice.
Well, he can have a big voice when he goes into the bangs or when he gets, you know, like aggressive.
But his voice, it just gets louder. It doesn't change tonally. Not dramatically.
I'm not saying his bangs are better than, I guess, Kevin Harlan's aggressive sounding voice, but at least he has, when he's just talking, he doesn't sound like that. It's more
like the dynamics is more the argument you're making.
Yeah.
The pro Breen argument for you is the dynamics of the call.
Yeah, that, and it just feels more fluid and classy to me. I don't know. And Kevin Harlan, while he's one of the literal GOATs of play-by-play. Like one of the three guys.
I think the other thing that gets me is Mike Breen doesn't shut up. So like when there's a big moment, the crowd never gets to breathe. The moment never gets to breathe.
He does that a lot.
Granted, there's also the Doris Burks and the Reggie Millers of the world that will decide to jump into the moment.
Uh-huh.
The 3-person booth is, that's part of it too, I guess. I don't know. I'm never going to move on this. Kevin Harlan is superior in almost every way.
Okay. It's just interesting.
The only thing that I think Kevin Harlan doesn't have is the moments because he's not on the games that ESPN has. Like one of the greatest calls in sports is a March Madness game where Kevin Harlan's line is, "Did we just see what I think we just saw?" And it is a goosebumps moment. It was when Purdue lost to, no, it wasn't Purdue. What teams was it? It was a couple years ago. 2 years ago, maybe? I love the call. Great call. And I'm not saying Mike Breen also did the same thing if you said, like, Harlan's one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
Mike Breen is also very good, but I just don't think he's...
You don't think they're in the same tier? Like, if I were to tier it, I would put them in the same tier for sure. But, like, if...
It's not a 1A, 1B at all.
That's crazy to me. Mike Breen is just... It's like the pinnacle of... Like, to me, I personally favor him. But it's like the Shea versus Jokic MVP thing. If you're a Shea guy in the MVP conversation, I don't think you're not a ball knower at all. Like, it's like, that makes sense. But to say that they're not on the same tier, then I'm like, what? You know, that's kind of how I
don't have to do 1A, 1B. I can say 1 and 2 confidently.
Interesting. I don't know. To me, listening to Kevin Harlan, I never have ever thought like, oh, I wish somebody else was doing this game right now. But
listening to Breen, you're saying,
yeah. Did I say Harlan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to say Breen. But also, I mean, I would say the same thing about Harlan other than...
I was like...
There's only one person when I'm listening to Kevin Harlan that I'm like, I would rather this person, and that's Mike Breen. But it's, yeah, it just comes down to... the thing I'm more confused about is your spectrum. Like, I'm trying to understand because I know that you just, like, hate Eric Collins. And then, like, so, like, the things you hate about Eric Collins...
That is, okay, if you're putting them in the same... Oh, my goodness. It's because Eric Collins, it doesn't make sense. It's just an explosion of screams. Kevin Harlan ramps up into the highs.
Yeah.
Eric Collins is just like, there's a steal, and he'll say, oh, poked away by LaMelo, and then he'll just start screaming.
Yeah,
Harlan, there's like the build, like if he's here, then the steal is here, then the dunk is here. Collins, it's steal is here, and then the dunk is here, and you're not prepared. He just goes in raw. There's nothing. He's just there. So
I'm not saying that they're on the same level at all. That's not what I meant by that.
I'm just saying, I think comparing like the faults or like what I don't like about, like they're not even close to the same.
Yeah, but Mike Breen is more of like, to me, it's like, if you don't like that, Kevin Harlan has more of that than
Breen. Is that
Breen
done
does. Correctly?
If it's not, that is just done wrong to jump to that insanely level.
So you're saying that it's the jump that you don't like. It's not that he's the energy he actually reaches.
Yeah, it's just that the energy is out of nowhere and it like scares the crap out of you sometimes.
Yeah.
And then also like the broadcast should never, and there's not very many, like football, I hate Gus Johnson.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Gus Johnson is his own. That is a different thing. Like,
well, Gus Johnson is Gus Johnson and likes to talk about Gus Johnson.
Like he doesn't actually do play-by-play, really. I mean, he does by definition, but like it's different.
But no, it's just like I really genuinely think the biggest thing for me is like I like had like 3 or 4 classes in school I took about this. And like fundamentally what like multiple books said and a bunch of like broadcasters I legitimately respect. Kevin Harlan is just like a textbook of what they teach you to do.
Really?
And Mike Breen is not.
I just when I hear, I mean, obviously you know more about it than me, but like,
and I'm not saying that as like it's a no more. I'm just saying like,
yeah,
that's probably part of my brain. But is like if you were taught to do math one way, someone else could do math and it get there and it like you're still getting the right answer. But if you were taught one way, you're like, well, that just isn't right. Like you got to the right place, but that still just is not. It's not this.
Yeah. So there's probably a lot of things that I miss, but like when I think of what you just said, like the textbook things that they do, it feels like there's more. Like Kevin Harlan kind of goes a little bit more off the rails, like with things, like where he'll just kind of do a whole, when he went off about how they're doing chicken tenders at CarMax. And like,
but it doesn't feel like a robot. Like it's like a thing that you like
it's
feel like
not
you're
a thing I don't like.
No, and that's what I'm saying is like that's like it's supposed to feel because like the color guy is supposed to add color, but like it's also the responsibility of the play-by-play guy to like also add color alongside the color guy. And when your color guy is Reggie Miller and or Doris Burke and sucks, being able to add color yourself, I think just makes your broadcast so much better. And I don't think Mike Breen adds color near as well. Like, you know what I mean by adds color to the broadcast? Mike Breen, when he's only talking about what's on the court, is great. But then he does this, like, whenever there's, like, nothing really going on, and he, like, has to, I say he has to, like, it's a chore, but, like, talk with his booth, it just feels weird. It's not as... Granted, he's also had a revolving door of a booth.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to build a repertoire with anyone.
I just feel like I just don't get that. I don't see any of those. Those don't pop out to me. I know
people that say Mike Breen sucks. I aggressively argue against.
I've never heard anyone say that in my life.
I have worked with, and they're being like dramatic, but like I have interacted and spoken with people being like, Mike Breen just sucks. I'm like, that's crazy. That's not even close to true. Mike Breen is just not Kevin Harlan.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we can wrap this up since that's taken up a big portion of the show. But I guess we'll just continually agree to disagree.
That's fine
on that one. Yeah,
I mean, some people are big like. Anyway, I was gonna do a football thing, but that's fine. We don't need. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just different. 3-4-4-3, different strokes for different folks.
3-4-4-3.
Types of football defenses: a 4-3 front or a 3-4 front.
Oh,
the 3 linemen or 4 linemen. 4 linebackers, 3 linebackers.
Okay. And that's a
2-3 defense or a 1-3-1 if you're running zones. Or a zone or man. There's people, different preferences. Both work, but there is different.
Yeah.